There's an elder, a preacher of the Christian church who has now been convicted of killing his own wife. There's an irony here that has not really been mentioned. This preacher used to belong to the same church or went to the same church as another preacher that we recently highlighted right here on Indisputable. So while this preacher was preaching about thou shalt buy me a Movado, he should have been preaching about thou shalt not kill. Let's put up the picture of the elder that was once connected to this so-called man of God. That is Elder Robert Harris, 30 years of age, of the Repairers Kansas City Church in Missouri. He is accused of murdering his late wife, Tanisha, who was 38. She was an associate minister. The guy you just saw preaching is Carlton Funderburk. We're gonna get into more of that in a minute. So Robert Harris, the man who has been convicted of murder, is a former church elder charged with killing his wife after less than 2 years of marriage. He has been convicted now of first-degree murder. Harris, who served as an elder at the Repairers Kansas City Charismatic Non-Denominational Church in Missouri, was convicted last Friday of the killing. He is now scheduled to be sentenced on November 3rd, according to the AP. Overland Police, here's the background. The Overland Police Department said that about 4 p.m. on the day of the murder, they were called to an apartment in the 8,000 block of Perry Street about a domestic disturbance. Harris was found alone in the apartment, but several hours later, he called the police to report that his wife was missing. When he was further questioned, officers became suspicious and admitted he had something to do with her disappearance. Tanisha Harris's body was later found in a field in Raymore. Her husband was taken into custody. So during the trial, many people testified. During the trial, it was exposed that there was a love triangle happening with this particular elder. Let's put up the picture of the young man that publicly identified himself as Stephen Jr. Stephen was one that gave testimony, all right? Several people gave testimony about Harris at trial at the Johnson County District Court, including this young man who testified that he was actually involved in a romantic relationship with the former church elder and Army veteran. In an intense Facebook Live post, he said he wanted justice for Harris's wife, who he said was a longtime friend. He also accused congregants at Harris's church, where Pastor Carlton Funderburk served as lead pastor, of being hypocrites. Funderburk, the preacher who really desperately wants a Movado, leads the church at the Well, Kansas City with his wife. He was recently forced to apologize after he was shown in a now viral video throwing a spiritual tantrum from the pulpit, in which he called his congregants broke, busted, and disgusted, and cheap sons and daughters for not honoring him with a watch from the luxury brand Movado. Now let's put up this group picture here of the elder and the pastor. So this is a photo of Elder Robert Harris, who has been convicted of murder. He is in the center. He's posing with his former pastor, Carlton Funderburk, who's on the left, and the other young people from that ministry. Now I bring this to the attention of the masses because, well, obviously if somebody commits the act of murder, they are spiritually, morally, ethically bankrupt. It is not ironic to me that an individual seeking God's face or seeking opportunity to replenish or seeking guidance did not find it at this particular church. So while the preacher here was preaching about, literally preaching about you buying him a Movado, he had one of his elders on trial for murdering an associate minister. But he's preaching about buying him a Movado. That is the state of much religion here in the United States of America and beyond. While people are authentically seeking opportunity for remedy and refuge and replenishment, all they're getting is rejection, hypocrites, and charlatans. I got time to call them out. Dear brother, what are your thoughts here?
I very much consider myself a Christian, and I hope by the end of this sentence that God will consider me a Christian as well. It would appear that this pastor was not shepherding his sheep. He was focused on other things that can produce something, I don't know, what he deems to be valuable in the church, instead of valuing what, honestly, the world over, Christians have been doing forever: philanthropy, aid, assistance for a number of things, a number of reasons around the world over. Christians do a lot of wonderful things. This isn't one of them, and that's an understatement I just said. This is a travesty all the way around. And like, how is this man gonna continue to have a job after this?
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if there's any additional news that comes from this. But as it stands right now, obviously there has been a conviction. My hearts and prayers are with those who have to deal with the fallout of such a tragedy.